Hello, nice to meet you.
Congratulations on Hold Your Breath. I thought it was great and I loved your performance.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Seriously, yeah, no, you nailed it. And I
Oh,
mean, I mean, you're up against the great Sarah Paulson. I'm such a fan of hers. I feel like I've been watching her forever, and here you are playing her daughter. So I was curious what it was like working with her behind the scenes and creating such an authentic, mother-daughter rapport for the end result.
yeah, she is so talented. It's actually insane. I yeah, I just the great thing about working with Sarah was, like you said, it felt authentic, and which it was. I was just reacting off of her. I wasn't acting, and that's like, what more could you ask for? And I just, I've always believed that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, and I learned so much from her. And, I learned so much just from like sitting back and watching her just transform into this, completely other person. Yeah, I love to just absorb that. And yeah, I feel like I grew a lot as an actress just being in her presence.
Of course, I feel like I'd be the same way. I mean, just when I interviewed her just recently, I feel like I learned a lot just chatting with her then. So, you know.
I know she's so intelligent and funny and talented. I mean, she has it all.
Oh
I
yeah.
love her so much.
Yeah, of course. Did you had you seen a lot of her work before this? Like, was there a particular TV show or movie of hers that really stood out to you leading up to this that you really liked?
I loved Ratched,
Oh
and I
yeah.
loved American Horror Story. I mean, I knew all about her, and when I saw that she was attached, because I hadn't read the script yet, but I saw that Margaret was Sarah Paulson, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
I want this part. So I'm
Yeah,
glad that it worked out.
of course. And you've done thriller types of projects in this sort of genre before. I was curious, are you a fan of kind of psychological thrillers? Do you like watching things that kind of freak you out, keep you on your toes, or do you like kind of the opposite with just watching comedies or curious what?
I sort of like the opposite, but I like being in the psychological thrillers and the horror films and stuff like that. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I love watching like lighthearted things that are funny and that put me in a good mood. But then I go to work and I just cry all day. So I'd have to have a balance.
Of course. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's good to have that balance. I get it. I get it. I also wanted to ask, I'm such a fan of the whole Yellowstone universe, and I know you're going to be, you're in that spin-off The Madison alongside the great Michelle Pfeiffer.
I was just in Montana this morning. Now I'm
Oh,
in
really?
LA.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in LA right now, but yeah, I mean, I would love to hear if you're able to. I mean, what's it been like working with her, and if there's anything more you could share about, the series. It looks wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can share, but it's a really special project, and I'm so grateful. It was such a dream come true. I've always wanted to work with Taylor Sheridan, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I met him at the screen test, and I fought for the role, and I booked it, and yeah, it's going really well, and we're filming right now in Montana, and I had never been there before. It's so beautiful, and everyone is so lovely, and the story, you're really gonna like the show. Maybe
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to come when that comes out. You have to talk to me again.
I would love that, seriously. I can't wait to see it. And, Taylor Sheridan, he's had his hand in addition, besides the whole Yellowstone universe, he's had his hand in all these other shows and movies too. I was curious, looking at his work, I mean, is your favorite, his Yellowstone stuff or maybe one of his other shows you particularly like? I was curious if.
1883 is my favorite of
Oh yeah.
his. Yeah, I mean, I love a period piece,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
yeah, that one's my favorite. But he's so talented. He is such a busy man. Like, he will be editing one show and then writing another show and then at the wrap party, and I'm just like, how are you doing all of this? I don't understand. But yeah, he's such a force, and I'm so grateful that he believed in me and gave me the part. And he called me himself. and offered. He was like, "Hey, Amiah, it's Taylor. You want to be in my show?" I was like, yeah, I sure do, Taylor."
Yeah. Yeah, I've met him briefly years ago in a production office, but I was curious what he's like, for you. What's it been like, interacting with him one on one? Is he, approachable and you know, working with him, if there's anything you
Yeah,
can share, yeah.
he's so sweet and approachable for sure. Christina Voros is our director on this one, and she is also so incredible. They are such a good team, and yeah, we're really making something special, and it's so nice because everyone is genuinely so kind. So when you're in that environment, good things come. You know.
Of course. Do you feel like Hold Your Breath is a wonderful little period thriller? Do you feel like your experience on this has kind of made the transition to other projects like the Madison a little more seamless?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely grew a lot as an actress doing Hold Your Breath, and I also, more importantly, I think found the confidence in myself to just sort of know like this is what I'm good at and what I was put on this earth to do. And yeah, I think once you sort of find that confidence, you take it, and I think people can feel it too. And yeah, I mean, this film, I had a lot of challenging scenes, and also working with Sarah, I learned so much from her, and yeah, I'll take that with me for forever and to every project I do.
Of course. Yeah, and I was going to ask, especially, I mean, no spoilers, but towards the end, there's those moments where you're watching, Margaret, and for you reacting to them as Rose, like, as Amiah behind the scenes, do you have like a secret? Because your reactions are so great, reacting to the things Margaret, as she sort of spirals. Do you have a secret to, because I'm sure you're not watching someone actually, those things happening to them. So do you have sort of a trick to put yourself in that mindset of the, concerned daughter in this crazy situation?
Yeah, I think just after every take, I just throw it all away in my brain. Like I just get rid of it all so it feels fresh
Yeah.
each take. Um, yeah, I don't know. I Sarah just made it so easy. Every take was just like it was so intense, I all I had to do was like stand there and watch what was happening around me, and that was the scene, like I genuinely just had to react. And yeah, for example, that needle scene,
Oh, right, right, right. I mean, that's what I'm
that
thinking.
looked so real when we were filming it. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
because she actually had I won't spoil anything, but it was actually being done, and I was actually cutting the thread, and it was a bit nauseating.
Oh, of course. And I'm sure that kind of helps with the end result, so I was curious if how much of that was actually, so it sounds like, yeah, a lot of it was even behind the scenes was kind of felt like you were
Yeah,
really, yeah, that's great.
it really did. And we were also filming in New Mexico during monsoon season, so
Okay.
dust was forming and blowing all around.
Yeah,
So but it helped with my performance because I mean that's nothing compared to what they experienced in the Dust Bowl. I just got a little taste of it. So yeah, I mean all these things just helped me get into character even more.
of
So
course. Of course. Well, yeah, it's a wonderful performance. And I also wanted to mention, I'm such a fan of the Planet of the Apes franchise, and I know you're in one of the, top movies that have come out, in recent years. And I was curious, were you a fan of those movies before joining for War of the Planet of the Apes?
yeah, I was I was such a fan of that trilogy specifically.
Right, right, right.
Um, yeah, I remember actually being like 8 or 9 and like watching those films with my dad, and I had no idea that I would be in one in a few years. So yeah, I mean there's all kinds of full circle moments like that, just like I was watching Taylor Sheridan shows like a few years ago and had no idea. So yeah, it's fun to see like what the universe has planned for you.
Of course, of course. Well, yeah, you have a bright future ahead of you, to put it mildly. So I hope we
Oh,
can do this on the next one. But in the meantime, congrats on Hold Your Breath. I can't wait for everyone else to keep watching it.
oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, and good luck with everything.
Thank you. It was so nice meeting you. Have a great rest of your day.